Mario and Donkey Kong have been at each other's throats for years.
The very first time we saw them squabbling was the original Donkey Kong from 1981.
Yeah, you remember the original Donkey Kong? Playing it now is like staying at a cheap hotel. You spend ages working your way up through the floors. Everything looks dated, the lifts are broken, there's constant noise and a woman screaming for help.
The playful feud between Mario and Donkey Kong is a long-standing one. It's even been played out on the big screen, and, most recently, a remake of the first Mario vs. Donkey Kong game for the Nintendo Switch. The Mario vs. Donkey Kong games have always been a spiritual successor of sorts to the arcade classic Donkey Kong, the very first time this rivalry hit screens.
Donkey Kong is a wonderful snapshot in time. You know it's well over 40 years old now.
So's the Berlin f***ing Wall. I don't see many people swooning over that.
I'm getting the impression you're not a fan of the original Donkey Kong.
Correct.
It's difficult to imagine what the gaming landscape would look like today if it never existed.
F***ing hell, the gaming landscape couldn't look any worse than it f***ing is. Christ.
Not everyone can pick up and play the original Donkey Kong. As the generational leaps widen with each passing year, this milestone in gaming history is gradually being confined to the history books.
Good. A book I can deal with, as long as I don't have to play it.
You could show a little respect. We get it. It's aged. But we've talked about this before. Games like this are much more than the relative enjoyment they give. Like driving a classic car. It may not have the highest top speed. It may not have...
Yes, I remember all your knuckle-dragging arguments. I was there. We were talking about Ocarina of Time. But what's left to say about Donkey Kong? Who still cares about it, other than Billy Mitchell? People only say these Mario vs. Donkey Kong games are a spiritual successor because of the very vague similarities. Gameplay-wise, they're totally different.
You could say the same thing about certain Mario games. Look at Super Mario Bros. And then look at Super Mario Odyssey. Gameplay-wise, they're totally different, but they're still sequels.
You wouldn't say Sonic games are a spiritual successor to Super Mario Bros. Though, would you? You'd have as much claim to do so.
Spiritual successors share common themes and/or playstyles. They don't have to be part of the same game world at all, but Sonic definitely could not be labelled a spiritual successor to Mario. They have very little in common, other than the fact they are both side-scrolling platformers. Mario vs. Donkey Kong certainly can be labelled as such. The character feud, the objectives, the setting, the basic look and feel, it's all there.
Oh, sorry, you lost me at spiritual. What did you say again?
Both Mario and Donkey Kong have come a long way over the years. The Mario vs. Donkey Kong games are perhaps the only remaining relative of their original incarnations. It's incredible to think that one day Donkey Kong and many more classic games will be a memory that no one alive has firsthand.
Hopefully they'll continue to live on through the virtual consoles and remakes. Gaming is in its middle age now. How do you think we'll look back on these games in another 50 years?
Oh, we won't be looking back. We'll be all plumbed into the Matrix. Oh, sorry, the metaverse. With a feeding tube stuck down your throat and another tube shoved up your arse to take it all away. And I tell you what, that dystopian nightmare will still be a better experience than playing the original Donkey Kong.